Thanks for joining us today. So I think it's 4:01, so I think we can begin first. Yeah, so very good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for joining us today. So welcome to Peer 71's Roadshow for Smart Port Challenge 2022. So during our roadshows, we'll have the opportunity to hear from our corporates who have contributed these innovation opportunities towards this year's Smart Port Challenge. So I'm Jeline, and I'll be your moderator for today. So in case you haven't heard about SPC before or are not familiar with it, it's actually a flagship event of Peer 71, which stands for Port Innovation Ecosystem Reimagined at Block 71. It's a program co-founded by NPA and NUS Enterprise. And this year, we actually have 15 innovation opportunities championed and supported by 22 maritime corporates and organizations. So for this roadshow, we have representatives from Jurong Port and SGTraDeX. So from Jurong Port, we have Tiang and Jennifer, and from SGTraDeX, we have Andrew. So before we dive into hearing from our corporates, we would like to start off by showing two short videos for the two innovation opportunities that we have today. Yeah, so could we get the first video on screen, please?
Lighter boats are used in the delivery of ship supplies to vessels calling at major ports. At Jurong Port, we facilitate the delivery of ship supplies through two lighter terminals. With the large number of delivery trucks coming in to load supplies onto lighter boats, we need to be able to manage congestion and operational efficiency at these terminals. To improve scheduling, we need the visibility of where the lighter boats are and where they are available to come in. However, we do not have access to this information as the lighter boats are not equipped with automatic identification system or global navigation satellite system due to regulatory and cost constraints. What we need is a cost-effective solution that can be adopted by lighter boat owners to provide real-time location visibility of their fleet to Jurong Port. This will help to improve overall productivity and operational efficiency for lighter terminal, which in turn help the industry streamline its logistic chain.
Okay, we have the second video on the screen now.
Jurong Port is a multi-purpose port operator handling general, bulk, and containerized cargo. Besides our main terminal, we also operate two lighter terminals. Here, we have trucks delivering ship supplies that get loaded onto lighter boat for delivery to vessels waiting out in Singapore anchorages. These ship supplies are generally delivered in pallets. Prior to arrival at the terminal, we require ship chandler to declare the quantity and weight of this pallet so we can assign appropriate cranes to lift these onto lighter boats. However, we do get quite a lot of inaccurate declaration, which then cause delay, and our security team at the port gantry will need to manually update the system and reassign crane lifts. We're looking for a solution that can automate the process of capturing the quantity and volumetric weight of pallets so as to alleviate these inaccuracies in declaration by ship chandlers. With accuracy in pallet declarations, manual system update at the port gantry and potential reassignment of cranes can be avoided. This will increase the efficiency of our gate-in process, which will improve the asset turnaround at our terminals for all users.
Okay, I think we can start straight with the innovation opportunities. So maybe before that, you could quickly introduce yourself and what you do before diving into the innovation opportunities. Maybe we can start with Tiang.
Hi everyone. My name is Tiang from Jurong Port. So I take care of the project technology team in Jurong Port, particularly looking at the innovation and digital project for lighter terminal.
Next, we could go on to Jennifer.
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm a project manager under project and tech working with Tiang on also doing a lighter terminals project at Jurong Port. Yeah.
Okay, and last but not least, Andrew.
Hi everyone, my name is Andrew. I work for SGTraDeX and I'm a project manager. Nice to meet you all.
Okay, thanks for introducing yourself. I think we can hand over the time to Tiang to dive more into these innovation opportunities.
All right, I guess you guys can see my screen, right? Great, just give me a moment, make sure all is all good already. Okay, great. Yeah, so anyway, I think we are done with the quick introduction, but let me just recap on the two problem statements that we have put up. Right, so in general, we are looking for solutions that help us promote the greater data transparency in the supply chain to promote a more connected and more efficient ship supply chain. But before I go into the two problem statements, let me give a quick context of Jurong Port. Right, Jurong Port is Singapore's primary gateway for general and bulk cargo since 1965. As part of our next-gen multi-purpose port vision, we have also the capability in handling containers, projectile, and also with our investment in the two tank terminals, the expertise in handling liquid bulk. We are focused in being future ready by being ahead of the curve and embracing mega trends, and one of which is digitalization and sharing economy. And that is a key to our discussion today. So now to the lighter terminal. We are the licensed operator for two lighter terminals in Singapore, Penjuru Lighter Terminal to serve the Western Anchorage and Marina South Wharf to serve the Eastern Anchorage. With that, we are the primary gateway for export and import of ship supplies, provision, and ship stocks. So what are ship supplies, you might ask? But they are basically anything and everything that is required to keep the ship out at sea, well-fed and well-maintained to sail around the world. So you can see for the type of cargo that we handle, it is a high volume and high frequency business that we are dealing at lighter terminals. So what are these ships that we talk about? Every day we see hundreds of vessels that are anchored or parked along the coastline of Singapore. It's a common sight when we look out from East Coast Park or Marina Barrage. Very often, right, these vessels are here to take ship supplies from Singapore as they sail around the world. As mentioned, these ship supplies include anything and everything from food to machinery to documents. Generally, right, these vessels will communicate their needs to shipping agent. This ship agent will in turn coordinate with ship suppliers who will provide the ship supplies to Jurong Port. This is traditionally done through email, WhatsApp, and any other messaging platform. Very often, many different suppliers are required to serve just a single order. These supplies are then transported to the terminal where they will converge with the lighter boats. Right, the cargo get loaded onto the lighter boat, and the lighter boat will do the last mile delivery out to the mother vessels at the anchorage. As you can see for this entire workflow, it is a very complex supply chain with multiple stakeholders involved, and there are also multiple operational permutations. So with that background, let me bring you through the first problem statement. Right, today, the information of pallet are first declared on LT Connect and then are printed in the form of DSA, or what we call the Delivery Shipment Advice. Right, this DSA contains information like the number of pallets of cargo they are entering to the port, the associated weight, and also volume. The DSA are then presented to the security, which will verify for one time, and before they get physically lifted onto the boat, it is also being verified by the lifting supervisor. So in this 5-step process, you can see there are two parts of this problem. First being one, the declaration of it, and second being the verification process. Let's talk about the first problem, which is the declaration. Right, so we know that the declaration are actually performed at the office or warehouse before the delivery of cargo comes to Jurong Port. But like any other supply chain, the start of it is actually the procurement process, where they receive the purchase order or purchase request from their customer. In this case, the ship agent or ship manager. Again, these communications are typically done through a mix of communication channel like email and WhatsApp. These orders are then fulfilled and packed in the form of pallets. And this information, as we understand, are recorded in the supplier-owned warehouse management system. At this point, it's important to note that not all the suppliers have their own WMS. Separately, the supplier will also need to perform a declaration of LT Connect, which is the DSA, where they input the type of packaging, the weight, and the volume of the different types of cargo into LT Connect. As you have observed by now, there are actually double or multiple entry of the same information here. First time in WMS, second time in LT Connect, or any other platform that they use. So over here, we are looking for a solution that will help us to eliminate the double entry information by users so that we can efficiently tap on the single source of truth. For this solution, we are partnering and leveraging on SGTraDeX as part of our data infrastructure program. Next, we go to the second part of the problem that we face, verification. As you can imagine, as the trucks are being loaded with the different types of cargo, after they have arrived at the terminal, the lifting supervisor would need to physically be there to observe the lifting operation. During this lifting operation, the lifting supervisor not only need to observe the safety of the operation, but he will also need to assess the number of lift, the weight of it, and also volume of cargo being lifted for each DSA. So to put some of these issues into context, we handle a wide variety of cargo, and we also manage a different tier of configuration when it comes to lifting. As you can see in the picture, we many types of cargo include from pallets, cold bean, even bigger items like elevator cranes. So the LS will need to assess or estimate the weight and the volume of the pallet or cargo through their naked eyes, and they have done so through their years of experience. So it is a daunting task, especially for a new LS to pick up these skills. And these processes has a margin for human error. So for this second part, we are looking for a solution that will help to eliminate the manual counting of lift by the lifting supervisor and also automate the process to do the estimation of volume and weight of each lift by incorporating AI or any other form of video analytics. I'll move on to the second problem statement that we mentioned. Right, so the second problem statement revolves around lighter boats. We are interested to see how we can get better visibility of the lighter boat so as to improve the operational efficiency at the lighter terminals. Today, the process again flows in generally. First, as the lighter operator, the person that owns the lighter boat, he will first book a berth via LT Connect. And as the boat captain travels towards the terminal, he will perform something what we call check-in. Think of it as a concept of airport check-in, where he will notify that he's around the vicinity of the terminal. Once we get the information, a duty officer for Jurong Port will then assign the lighter boat to the appropriate crane. And at this moment, the duty officer from Jurong Port will observe again through the CCTV when exactly the lighter boat berth, this is what we call actual time of berth, ATB, and when will the lighter boat leave, which is called the actual time of unberth. Again, through this process, you can see we rely a lot on human judgment. So there are two areas that we're looking at again. One, when the lighter operator performs check-in, and second, how do we look at recording the actual time of berth and unberth. And we have come some way through the initial state of how we operate the terminal. In the past, the industry is very used to the whole concept of first come, first serve. They will drive or sail the lighter boat in front of the terminal, and then they will request for a berth. So you can see from this, it's a lack of scheduling of call at the terminal. Even at one point of time, we can have 10 to 20 lighter boat waiting at the same time because no one has visibility of who is coming next. We have seen with LT Connect introduced berth booking, the industry has gotten used to the concept of having to book berth before they arrive at the terminal. And the aforementioned process like check-in are actually implemented for the lighter operator. And they are doing this through their mobile phones. And this entire booking process has given us much better visibility of our berth and also a forecast of the utilization ahead. This allows us a better schedule of resources, not just in terms of manpower and maintenance, but also for the lighter operator, where they don't have to wait at our lighter terminal unnecessarily. So the lighter captain are performing check-in within 5 minutes for the terminal. So we again over here, one of the potential solutions we're looking at is how do we automate this entire process instead of having a human to perform check-in. As you can again imagine, it is also very dependent on someone doing this. So what if I forgot to perform this check-in, or I lack 4G connection and this check-in process is not performed? Second part of it is as the Jurong Port officer now relies on CCTV to record the actual time of birth and number for the lighter boat. Again, this requires a constant monitoring of the entire operation and requires human judgment for us to record this timing. So for these two key elements, pre-arrival checking and recording of lighter ATB ATU, again, we are looking for a solution that will help us eliminate the manual entry of the lighter boat, ATB ATU, and also performing checking with a cost-efficient track and trace system. Although a common question was asked is, do we already have some track and trace on the lighter boat? The answer is both yes and no. Some of the lighter boat, they do have AIS installed, but the challenge that we face today is because of the cost, the industry is not adopting the industrial-wide level. And second, because there's no regulatory control, not everyone is switching on the location tracking 24/7. So these are challenges that we also wish. Before we move on to the Q&A, maybe now I'd like to pass my time to our supporting partner, SGTraDeX. Andrew Tong will bring us through what is SGTraDeX.
Thank you, Tiang. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. So let me share my screen. Tiang, I believe you have to unshare first before I can share.
There you go, Andrew.
Yep. Thank you again. Thank you so much. It's a brilliant opportunity to be here. So I think let's start off by sharing a video about SGTraDeX and yeah.
SGTraDeX, building efficiency and resilience in the global supply chain ecosystem. Digitalization has accelerated in recent times. However, in the global supply chain and trade industry, its promise is yet to materialize. Most digitalization efforts have resulted in new data islands. The outcomes failed to deliver sufficient value. Recognizing the need for a collaborative approach, participants from both the public and private sectors rallied together in the aftermath of the pandemic. As a result, SGTraDeX was born, a breakthrough initiative to create a neutral digital highway that's open to all, not driven by profit, and promotes standardization and interoperability. SGTraDeX enables global trade to happen quicker, with better reliability and higher integrity. You can participate in industry use cases via our admin portal, Pitstop, and Highway. Our solution is built on a set of fundamental principles. Privacy by design. Our data sharing is consent-based to safeguard your existing commercial relationships. Ease of use. You can plug, play, and exchange data seamlessly with your ecosystem partners. SGTraDeX natively supports API-based connectivity for system-to-system data sharing. Innovation-centric. Our approach augments your data and restores the power of innovation to your organization. Security at the core. At SGTraDeX, we don't store or see your data. The exchange is completely encrypted. Value-focused. We solve problems that are relevant to you and the industry. SGTraDeX is open to players across the value chain. By participating in industry use cases, banks, traders, shippers, freight forwarders, asset operators, and tech solutions, you'll create value for you and your ecosystem. You'll capture efficiencies and reduce your operational costs. Eliminate manual and duplicative efforts by moving away from paper-based processes. Improve planning, increase asset utilization, and boost productivity. You'll build trust in your ecosystem and strengthen trade. Mitigate against fraud and manipulation by digitizing your documents. Provide transparency by enabling counterparties to ascertain real-time trade data from the source. Make it possible for buyers and sellers to obtain financing for their trade faster. You'll uplift your reputation as a digital leader. Take an active step towards forging a stronger and more robust trade and supply chain ecosystem. Transform your industry by joining our movement as a development partner to accelerate digitalization. Seize this opportunity to be the change you want to see. Join us. SGTraDeX.
All right, so thank you everyone. So SGTraDeX was brought together through a strong public-private partnership model. We leverage technology to build a trusted and secure data sharing infrastructure. So in this infrastructure, it comprises three major components: the pit stop that acts like an adapter and allows the option to API integrate, the admin portal which manages who shares data with, and a web portal, an inclusive solution to allow participants who are unable to API integrate to use SGTraDeX. So currently SGTraDeX has gone live on June 1st with 3 use cases, and there are more than 70 industry participants transacting commercial data. We apply a use case approach such as understanding the industry's pain points or problem statements, map out processes, and uncover value. So here is an executive summary of the output from a use case proof of concept. This is a sneak preview of the upcoming use case called ship supplies and lighterage optimization, which I'm leading into the prototype phase. Our aim is to help the participants transfer commercial data, like data elements identified in the use cases, by connecting the financial and physical flow of the supply chain. Circling back to the Spark Port Challenge, SGTraDeX and JP Jurong Port, our trusted partner, wants to contribute back and transform the ship supplies industry. We identified issues such as the 2 problem statements as mentioned by Tiang. In order for this transformation to accelerate, the need for less reliant paper documents or processes is essential, and we are looking for the right innovation partner to transform the industry. To further illustrate, referring back to innovative opportunity 1, which is pallet count, some firms might propose using computer vision to resolve the issue. The proposed solution needs to be comprehensive and factor in technological limitations. For instance, computer vision might not work well in rain and provide possible workarounds. The main takeaway is Peers Anyone is an innovative platform to help all of us set the right trajectory, propose viable alternatives, and tackle our respective challenges. We need your help to develop innovative solutions to reduce inefficiencies, shift away from traditional processes, and contribute to digital transformation as we envision it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tiang and Andrew, for sharing these 2 innovation opportunities and your inputs of it. Yeah, it's really a good sharing to give our attendees here a very good background into what this innovation opportunity is, especially since some of them might not be in the maritime industry just yet. Yeah, so actually I have a quick question regarding the lighter boats challenge statement. So that's challenge statement number 2. You did mention that they will have to check in when they're around 500 meters away, and then there'll be someone from Jurong Port to assess their time to berth. So just wondering, like, how long does this process take, and do they use an application for this? And what happens if they don't have, you know, like you mentioned, maybe they don't have good connection, then sort of how does this happen? And if they don't have connection, how does it, is there like a backup plan for this? Yeah, maybe you could share more.
Great. And thanks for the question. So maybe I'll share it in 2 parts. So in our process, let's say myself, like the operator or like the captain, I perform check-in. Then the officer at Jurong Port will receive the information. Then they will be slotted in something what we call a BMS. So there's an application already, or rather I'll say our terminal operating system, berth management system. They'll put it in so they can be allocated to the right crane for them to serve or conduct the lifting operation. So that's on the normal flow. In case the lighter captain is unable to perform check-in or he's unable to do so for whatever reason, connectivity, or be because he's not familiar with the new application they use on phone, there's a backup plan where they can still radio or comms in to the control station at Jurong Port. Let's say I'm saying I'm lighter boat 1, 2, 3. I need to come in. Then again, it will be done through a verbal confirmation, and instruction will be given him to berth at the right crane.
Okay. I see that we have a couple of questions in the Q&A function also pertaining to challenge statement number 2. So the first question is, what is an automatic identification system, AIS, or global navigation system, GNSS? And maybe you could explain a little bit more on how they work and how, this challenge statement kind of works with that.
Yeah, so maybe I'll take that question. So for AIS, or the automatic identification system, it's actually tapped on by most countries, VTS, or vessel traffic services. Yeah, so transceiver will have to be installed on the vessel first. And the general rule of thumb is that any vessel above 500 GT will need to have their AIS turned on at all times. But the problem is that the lighter crafts that visit our terminals, they are often less than 300 GT, in which case this regulation does not extend to them. So MPA has actually put in place a regulation such that when they are in movement, they will need to turn it on as well. But it's also not 100% strictly enforced, so there are certain loopholes in that case. Yeah. Then for GNSS, that's another form of tracking system that we have also tried to explore, but the same kind of problems apply there as well. There's no regulations put in place that they must install it or that they must turn it on at all times. And also in terms of how close this location service, will it be able to show us exactly where they are? Will it be able, even when they are just show the difference between when they are at 500 meters out or directly at our wharf site, whether it's accurate enough for that purpose or not? That's something that we'll need to explore as well. Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that, so the AIS and, the GNSS system can't exactly pinpoint per se where the lighter boat is within the 500 meters, and it's sort of more of a gauge. Is that what I'm getting? Is that correct?
Based on our previous studies, actually GNSS can be slightly more accurate than AIS. Yeah, but also the first problem will apply whether or not these lighter crafts already have the receivers installed on them or not, and whether they turn it on at all times for us to be able to capture their locations. Yeah.
Okay. So if those lighter boats don't have these transceivers, so I'm assuming they will go through the backup method, which is using radio, since they don't have the transceiver.
So like I mentioned earlier, also as you rightly point out, so if they don't have that, current process is either someone physically perform a check-in on his mobile phone, or he do the radio concept. As you can imagine, if in the ideal future where we're able to perform certain level of track and trace on the lighter boats that are flying around Singapore waters, then there is no longer a need to do so. Because with bird booking, we know that they are coming to the terminal approximately 1 p.m. today.
Yeah.
We can geofence it. The moment they cross the geofence, they know that they are coming to the terminal, and we can automatically assign the appropriate crane of berth to the lighter boat. So this is something that we obviously want to extend for part of this solution.
Okay, thanks for sharing. I think we also have another question for innovation challenge number 2. Ingang also asked, what are the implications of late arrivals, and maybe you could also share how costly it is for stakeholders involved in this.
Maybe I'll share a little bit more on this. So when we talk about the late arrival of trucks, it impacts, I guess, certain key stakeholders that we look across the supply chain. First and immediate one will be elements on the road, which is the trucks. As you can see, the supply chain is rather complex and a few combinations to it. Very often, one boat, they take supplies from multiple trucks.
Yeah.
Right? Very often, I think it's about 4 to 5 trucks that we have last studied. So imagine if I'm delayed for 10 minutes, it's a multiplier effect to the rest of the 4 to 5 trucks. That's that first level. Second, if they are late, means they'll also be late for their delivery to the mother vessel they are waiting at anchorage. As we all can know, Singapore anchorages is one of the busiest anchorage in the world. So the turnaround of the vessel is important for us as a maritime nation. So that is the second layer of delay. If I deliver to my cargo and my mother vessel late by 2 hours, that will also create a knock-on effect to all the other maritime services or supplies that he needs to take on at the anchorage. So it comes in twofold.
Okay. maybe you should, maybe you could share what other stakeholders are also involved. I think you did mention that, for example, the mother vessels and other cleaning services, but just wondering if there are more stakeholders that, that these startups and social providers should be aware of, that they should speak to, they should understand their pain points as well. Yeah.
Great. So I think the key of it are two of them, which is I guess both the trucks, the trucking companies, suppliers, which the trucks may belong organically to them, or could be a third-party trucks that help to provide the trucking services. Of course, the mother vessel that's anchorages, but of course beyond the mother vessel and anchorage, typically they are also being managed by ship agents, or they are being operated by ship operators. So these are all on the commercial front of it that has an impact. And when I share about, when the lighter boats, when the mother vessels are in Singapore, they're not just here purely to take ship supplies, but the other auxiliary services, they're also for here, be it bunkering, taking of fresh water, crew change, or any other form of documented exchange. You can imagine if one of the, element is late or being delayed, it has impact on all the other services that are here to perform in Singapore.
Okay, thanks for sharing. We actually have more questions on the second innovation opportunity. So next one is asked by Ali. The question is, how many lighter boats serve Singapore, and how many operating companies are behind these boats?
Okay, I'll take this question. So actually, for Jurong Port, we have around 200 over different lighter boats that visit us over a month. 200 unique vessels that they call multiple times throughout the month. In terms of the companies, we have around close to 70 companies in total that are managing all of these various lighter boats. So you can see it's a very wide spectrum. We have a company who will have a lot of lighter boats under them, 40 over, and even down to just one pop and mom shop who just has one lighter boat under him. Yeah, it could just be a uncle that is behind this company. So need to convince him to do this installation of the new system and stuff. That's some of the challenges that we face.
Understand. And on top of that, I wanted to jump back to the AIS system, which is another question that also appeared in the chat. So it's how much does it actually cost to install an AIS system? And maybe what are some of the reasons for a boat to not switch it on? Yeah.
I may not have the most accurate number on hand, but as per what I understand, it costs a couple of thousands, just in USD, but not in the tens of thousands, because there are various. In AIS, you can deep dive. There's AIS A, AIS B. AIS B is slightly less advanced or less information transmitted, but it's good enough, for most of the operation that runs in the harbor. But it costs a couple of thousand. One of the reasons why people switch it off, first of all, it can be switched on, that's why they switch it off. That's one. And second is various reasons. They do not, the captain himself do not wish to be tracked or where their whereabouts. Second of all, it may sound a bit ridiculous, but these are real life experience that we have, is because you take away one power supply from them. So if they wanted to charge their other devices, they plug it off. This is what we have been through. But so the unique part about this industry, I guess as Jennifer has mentioned, I would say is, as a current state, is rather fragmented because it's run by multiple operators. But many of them are SMEs. They may not have the financial means or skill to do investment in this area. But this also, that's why we are also looking very closely to how do we have a low-cost solution, maybe something a lot simpler. They don't have to pay upfront such a big upfront cost, and also low in maintenance, so that it is a fast-free solution for them. You don't have to think about me plugging in or maintaining the entire system just to keep the track and trace going.
Okay. Actually, I got a quick question regarding this AIS system also, because I understand maybe some lighter boats are slightly newer, some are maybe slightly older. So does that mean that this AIS system can be installed on all these lighter boats, or is it like it only can fit maybe the newer lighter boats? Yeah.
It can be installed in both the old and the new lighter boat, because it's like a beacon that add on the entire structure, and most importantly, just need a power source to be able to power them.
Okay. Okay, I think maybe we follow up with this question from Ali. It says that given you need to monitor a designated area, maybe have you looked at other technologies such as maybe lasers or radars, and that can be alternative to AIS or DNS?
Great. Thanks for the question, Ali. We have not actively pursued this the other technology in terms of giving us track and trace. But this is actually why we are here at PS81. We hope we hear innovative solution for you guys to say, hey, actually you don't need to install a beacon on someone else. You can just track within, I guess, the physical realm or just by extension of the terminal. I think that will be interesting solution that you hope to look out for.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Actually, I think we also have a question for Andrew. It says that in the presentation, it actually seems like there are quite a lot of digital information being exchanged between the various parties. And so does SGTraDeX help with standardizing these data exchanges? And will they be working closely, or will startups and solution providers kind of be working closely with you in the challenge to kind of build up the solution? So maybe you could share a bit more on what they can look forward to, the support that they might receive.
Yep, thanks, Charlene. So yes, the short answer is yes. We do harmonize the data that is being sent into SGTraDeX, and in this PS81 challenge, we will be working closely, but not only with SGTraDeX, but with JP as well, to ensure that the solution is appropriate and holistic enough. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that. Okay, we have another question from Ying Hang. So the question is, can boats on sea receive mobile reception, and perhaps how reliable is it in real life? Or maybe you could share maybe like the frequency that maybe they do not receive mobile reception as well, in case that's important for them to know for their solution.
Yeah, so maybe I'll take this question. So we do hear a lot of our captains, they tell us that they have trouble connecting even when they are very near to our terminal already. So and then when they go out to sea at the anchorage site, then it's even harder to get connection there. Yeah, so technically there is free Wi-Fi provided, but it would depend on how strong the connection is. So LT Connect right now, where they do their check-in, is actually a web page. So first thing, they will need a strong connection to be able to successfully declare that they are on their way to us already. So that's one of the issues that we are facing.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Actually, I got a quick question. So given that some of the startups here might not actually be from the maritime industry, perhaps you might want to share some of the industry specific things they might want to know, in a sense that what are some of the challenges they might face working in this industry. I think it'll be good for them to know, since they might be new to maritime. Yeah.
Well, first thing first, there are a lot of jargons in the maritime industry. but don't worry about that. I guess we'll be working very closely together on that. But coming to something more serious, I think very interesting part about the maritime industry is I guess I think my colleague also will agree with me. Right now, there's abundance of opportunity for us to help to digitize and also improve the current process, especially of how the entire supply chain works. Key challenges that we will likely face, and we always face this on a daily basis, is you have to a solution has to work for a wide range of audience, from let's say the mom and pop shop, the SMEs, and also have to make sense to I guess some of the larger organizations, and also some of the I would say MNC that are operating in this entire maritime scene in Singapore. That's one. Second is also with that I guess context, the solution also has to be I guess cost efficient and something that is implementable, easily implementable for this range of people, especially so for our local SME. And the local SME is something we are always very interested in supporting, because they are our key partners in the entire maritime industry. And but that I want to add on again, with that I often see that because of these challenges, yet they also present abundance of opportunity there for us. We in previous I guess series through either PS81 or IMDA OIP, we have worked with that vendor that has successfully implemented solution for the maritime industry and actually found themselves, I guess, a new blue ocean for them to showcase their innovative solution. So that is something we really hope to hear from the tech solver in PS1.
Okay, so maybe Andrew, would you like to share your thoughts as well?
Yeah, I think like what I mentioned in the presentation, we are really looking for innovative solutions, and obviously, please feel free to think out of the box. And even going back to problem statement 2, which is just like track and trace, you can think out of the box, for example, like adding stop detection algorithms and making, letting us know, is there anything that is interesting? And so I think like pushing the boundaries is very important, and this is why PS1 plays a very crucial role. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, so actually maybe we could move on to some questions for the pallet declaration innovation challenge statement instead. So maybe I can start off. So I understand that things that you look for in this will be like pallet count and volumetric weight. So just wondering if there's already a platform where maybe our solution providers can sort of tap on to test their solutions. For example, that they need some testing sort of data. Just wondering if Jurong Port might already have that, and maybe what kind of support startups can look forward to regarding specifically this challenge statement.
I mean, as part of this, I guess the solution process, the Jurong Port will be able to share this data with them based on all the historical data, what has been declared, the accuracy of it. And as you can see in the presentation, we do one of the solutions that potentially we look at, as also Andrew mentioned, so I guess machine learning or the visual image recognition. So we potentially we can tap on to historical CCTV footage to see if this is sufficient for that. But we are open to all solutions. If need be, we are able to install more CCTV or more cameras, especially around crane areas, so that we can do a much more accurate estimation of both the lift and also the volumetric of the cargoes.
Okay. Thanks for sharing. Oh, I just saw that a question popped up. It's from Ali. So it's, who do you imagine to pay for this solution? Will it be the boats, the suppliers, or will it kind of be Jurong Port? Yeah.
Oh, this is a very commercial question to that. For problem statement 1, especially when it comes to estimation or rather say the verification of lift in the terminal, I think it's quite safe to say Jurong Port will be one. They'll be championing and also funding this entire innovation. That's one. When it comes to the second problem statement, I think things are up for discussion. There are various mechanisms and levers that we can look at in terms of commercial arrangement. So I wouldn't cast that in stone just yet.
Okay. I think maybe we don't. Oh, we have one more question. Okay, so the question is, do you know if these solutions in this space have markets beyond Singapore?
Yeah, maybe I'll take this question again. So I think it's definitely both, especially in terms of both problem statement 1 and statement 2. Because you can imagine when we are done survey, the ship supply industry works pretty much similarly in Singapore and regionally around, be it in Busan in China. They do the lifting, someone is counting that, the charging. So I can imagine it's highly applicable, already like for like in terms of the same industry, but also in both regionally and internationally. But more importantly, I do see that if this works, there are also similar solutions, or this solution can also be easily replicated. Obviously easy, but also can be replicated to the other business vertical within Jurong Port. I think this is something that we also want to look out for. For example, we also do in the wider Jurong Port ecosystem, we also do lifting operation at the Jurong Port. So image recognition for counting of lift, for I guess the pallets in lighter terminal could one day be transposed to the similar solution for Jurong Port. Same thing for the lighter boat track and trace. These ideas can also be ported over to other assets that we want to track and trace on. So I think these are the possible opportunities that we look for.
Okay, thanks for sharing. If there are no further questions, I think we can. There is one more question. Every time I say there's one more further question, another question pops up. Okay, so the question is, when was LT Connect created, and what were the challenges of rolling out LT Connect?
Yeah, so I'll take this question. So LT Connect was officially launched in March last year, 2021, but we actually created it even earlier. We soft launched it since 2020, and as we all know, COVID hit us. So the soft launch period was extended even further as well. And with our user group, actually most of them would prefer a kind of face-to-face interactions as well. So COVID was a big impact for us during the launch. Yeah. After that, when we launched in 2021, for our lighter operators, as shared earlier, we have around 70 over companies. For our ship suppliers, we are looking at over 300 companies, and a lot of them also SMEs, mom and pop shops as well. Yeah, so it's a lot of different varying type of users. Yeah, like as Tiang said earlier, you would have to cater to the bigger, more digitally savvy companies, as well as those that are not as digitally savvy. Yeah, so that's a main challenge for us when we launched LT Connect back then also lah. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I think you shared a lot of information. I would like to ask each of you here, maybe you could sum up in maybe 3 sentences what you specifically look for in a solution for either one of the innovation opportunities, just to give a short and sweet ending to this virtual. Yeah. Maybe we could start with Jennifer.
Andrew?
Or Andrew. Well, Andrew.
Thank you. Thank you for putting me in the spot. I think, again, we hope to see solutions that are innovative, help us remove efficiencies, shift away from the traditional process, and obviously contribute to the digital effort that is being put into the ship supplies or even maritime industry. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, maybe Tia, you want to go next?
Yeah, I think I just focus on the problem statement number 1, and maybe Jennifer can do problem statement number 2. So we're really looking for a unique or solution to help to do verification of the lifting, or verification on number of lift and weight and volume of the cargoes at Jurong Port. Right, please, I think I echo what Andrew mentioned. Break away from the current way we are doing things. Any of the individual solution that you want to propose to Jurong Port and also SGTraDeX, feel free to do so. I think we'll evaluate them, and if there need be to change the current process or tweak the way that we work, we are willing to explore that so that to digitize the supply chain.
Okay, thank you. Jennifer?
Yeah, leave me to give the ending. Yeah, I think for statement 2 especially, just to sum it up, we are looking for a solution that is cost effective, that would be easy for our users, smooth for our users to adopt. Yeah, and very importantly would be something that can be cross-applied as well. I think that is a very important feature for us. We don't believe that any of these solutions is restricted to the kind of scenarios that we just described earlier. It can definitely be transposed into other areas as well. So there's a lot of opportunities, yeah, that are available.
Okay. So thank you all for your time, Jennifer, Tiang, and Andrew, and also preparing such a detailed slide deck with videos and visuals and all. So for startups who are listening in, we really encourage you to put forth your proposals, and you have the opportunity to work with our 2 corporates here, Jurong Port as well as SGTraDeX. So this is a quick slide to remind you that the deadline is actually on the 8th of July. And if you would like to find out more about the other 14 or other 13 innovation opportunities that we have, you can scan the QR code on this slide as well. So for this week, we also have other roadshows which would share the innovation opportunities as well. And you could scan this QR code to register. So the upcoming one will be with Wilhelmsen on Thursday, as well as OMC shipping, which is happening this coming Friday. Yeah. Also, please continue to follow us on our LinkedIn page and our social media pages to get the latest updates. Yeah. So for startups who actually make it to the next stage, you can look forward to participating in Peer 7 Accelerate program. You'll get to interact with more maritime corporates and to validate your solutions in the maritime industry. So thank you everyone, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks everyone.